Beautiful. So do you believe it, that everything is possible? Jesus said all things are possible. Not by ourselves though, right? Right? All things are possible through the Father within, through the Christ within. With God, all things are possible. So what is your greatest dream? What is your greatest passion? What is it, that thing that when you hear Robin sing that song, that ignites in your heart? What is possible for you? And what if it is the birth of the Christ? We just celebrated Christmas. We're still in Christmas season. We have a bet going on at our house is when the Christmas songs go off the radio. So far, it hasn't happened. After New Year's. That's what I said, Thursday. So get your fill, because after Thursday, you'll be all done. Until, I don't know, Labor Day or something, right? I think they were on before Christmas or before Halloween this year. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. When we celebrate the birth of that Christ, when we have this moment every year, and you can do it every day, you don't have to wait till Christmas, but when something happens and the veil becomes thin, and you step into a new awareness of your spiritual heart, everything changes. Potentially, everything changes. Obstacles become smaller. Pathways become more brightly lit. I was going to say wider. That's not necessarily true, but more widely lit, more visible. Barriers become not overwhelming, but just simply things to walk through. So one of my favorite day after Christmas stories is that there's a minister in New York City who had an absolutely beautifully decorated church, although I'm sure it had nothing on ours this year. It did have one thing on ours this year. It had a creche. You know, it had the Mary and the Jesus and the Joseph and the animals and the shepherds and the star, and it had all of that. And it was absolutely beautiful, as ours is. And the Sunday after Christmas, the pastor went into the church, and he was just admiring it one more time because, you know, next week it's all coming down after church, by the way. So we get to enjoy it one more time. And he looked, and he was looking, and there was Mary and Joseph and the star and the angels and the shepherds, and everything was beautiful. Except, wait, something's missing. Oh no! Baby Jesus is missing. Somebody stole the Christ child. And he's in a panic. He's like, what in the world? Who in the world would do that? However, I did see it actually happened in New York this week, too. It was in the news. It was like, seriously? And they actually broke the manger because he was nailed in or whatever, however that works. But anyway, back to my story. And the pastor was like, what in the world could have happened? And he looked out the window, and he went out the front door, and down the road, he saw little Bobby. And Bobby was pulling a bright, shiny, brand new red wagon. He says, hey, Bobby, the baby Jesus is missing from the manger. Do you know anything about it? He says, yeah, I got him right here with me. He says, Bobby, come here. Explain to me, please, why you would take baby Jesus from the manger. He said, oh, Pastor, I prayed to the Lord before Christmas, and I said, if you could see me fit, please bring me a red shiny wagon, and if you do, I will give you the first ride. It's time for us to take a ride in that wagon. It's time for us to come into that space after the birth, after the chaos, after the high that so many of us experience during Christmas, although not everybody. Some people have pretty low lows during Christmas. But this week is one of my favorite weeks of all time. This week I call it the Holy Pause. That's the word for this year, the Holy Pause. We have the opportunity between the birth and before the new. Okay, that doesn't make sense logically, but just feel it. Between the birth has happened, and yet we're not yet about to go into the world. So if you have a newborn baby, at least in my day, you stayed home for a couple of weeks. Some of these kids, they take the baby out 2 days later, they're at the mall. But in our day, most of us, right, we settle in. We settle in. That birth happened, that babe we'd been waiting all this time for, that active patience, what Regina or somebody gave me a line like that. It was very beautiful. You don't remember. Anyway. It was something about being very active in our patience. It was something about, and maybe it wasn't you, but it was something about being very, say it again. Aggressive waiting. Yeah, active patience, aggressive waiting, almost the same. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. But those moments where we are in anticipation and then it happens. And the birth happened, and maybe in each and every one of you this year, there was an awakening of that Christ presence in you, awakening of a new possibility of love and kindness and compassion. Maybe there was awakening in you to something that represents the Christ presence, Christ on this planet, Christ in this world. And as that birth happens, we take this time between Christmas and New Year's, for sure, to just allow it to settle. We can allow our lives, most of us, some of us, to become a little bit simpler during this time. For many of us, it's busy leading up to Christmas. We've got a million things to do. But this moment, at least this hour that you sit here today, take a breath and let it go. And settle down into this holy pause. This moment that the calendar actually gives us to settle, to open, to allow that which is new to begin to percolate at a new way of being. Now on Wednesday we'll have our burning bowl ceremony, and so we'll look at what we want to release, what we're ready to surrender from this past year or beyond. And we'll do that in ceremony, and we'll do that with fire, and we'll do that by burning, and we'll also begin to prepare for the new beginning. We'll open the space for preparation as we begin to step in the new. But for right now, there is not one single thing that anybody has to do, I promise you, at least for the next 20 minutes. There's nothing you have to do but to come present in this now moment. Christ came, Jesus Christ was born so that we could have life and have it abundantly. Jesus Christ was born. He came to this planet so that our joy might be complete. Now, when he was born as a babe, all of that wasn't known. He was born as the Messiah, the hope, the God love made visible on the world, made manifest in the world. And yet, as he grew, and then as his ministry grew, and as the 300 years passed before the scriptures were written, it became really apparent that Jesus, that Christ within us is what gives us life, and gives us life abundantly, is what brings us joy and brings our joy complete. But Jesus went away. He went away many times. He was born, the next scripture, he's 12. There's 12 years in there. 18 years later, he shows up, he begins his ministry. But where was he in all that time? He was away. He was taking care of his own spiritual heart. He was learning, he was growing, he was developing. Even within his ministry, he's first baptized, and what's the very first thing he does after he's baptized? He goes away. He goes into the wilderness. He's tempted. He has all of his experiences, but it's all about developing. It's all about awakening. It's all about birthing and nurturing and growing up and then integrating the spiritual truths, the spiritual awakening, the love and the light. Even throughout his ministry, he would do the miracles, and then he would go away. He would go up onto a mountaintop. He would go away to pray. It is such an important part of our lives that many of us don't take time for, that many of us are busy 24/7, every day of the week, every day of the year. But what if we took a conscious holy pause? What if we took a conscious holy pause as a spiritual practice? It could be as simple as stopping to take a breath. So stop. and take a breath. And then the most important part of that breath, exhale. Stop and take a breath. That can be a holy pause. You can stop and take a breath every time the phone rings, every time you get in the car, every time you get out of the car, every time you go into a room, every time you change rooms, every time you go into the bathroom. You can make it a part of your practice, and I encourage you to. Make a holy pause. Make a holy pause conscious with your breath, or take it the next step and take that breath into the holy pause. Make it a moment. No longer than a breath. Make it a moment. Or make it a day. Can you book into your calendar in the next month a holy pause day where there was nothing you had to do except breathe and maybe pray and maybe write and maybe nap? Anybody here like naps? Oh, just love a good nap. Or take a holy pause for a week. Or take a holy pause as a practice. Make the commitment to holy pause as a practice for every day this year, or every day this month, or every day how about all the way every single day till the end of the year? That's how many days? 3. Can you do it? Maybe it's 4, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, 3. It's only 3 more days. Jesus said, become like little children. Verily I say to you, whoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a little child shall in no wise enter therein. Bring a sense of awe and wonder and innocence to the holy pause. When we get busy and we get crazy in our lives and in our minds, which are 2 very different experiences for many of us, it just goes and goes and goes and goes. But when you become like a little child and you bring a sense of innocence or awe and wonder, what happens is you come totally present in this moment. We know this. Yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Bill Keane. Yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery, but today a gift. That's why it's called the present. But to come into the present moment is the most important thing you can do. To come into the present moment is the place that you will find the Christ, that you will find the love, that you will find the patience, that you will find the compassion. It won't be out here. It won't be in running 24/7. It comes when you take that breath, when you open that space where you become totally present in this moment, right here and right now. There's a book that we have in our bookstore by Anne Lamott. Anybody who loves Anne Lamott needs this book. It's called Help, Thanks, Wow. And it summarizes her prayer practice. Help. Okay, think about all the times we say, help, help, please, help, 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 help. Help me remember to love. Help this person get through their grief. Help this person manage their health situation. Help my friend. Help this person. Help the people we don't know. Help. Help, according to Anne Lamott in her practice, gets us outside of ourselves. Right? Because as soon as we ask for help, whether it's a beg or a beseech or on our knees or we can't even take another breath, whatever our space is, it connects us to that which is greater than us. It gives us that holy pause from the monkey mind chatter that keeps us locked up in the situation, in the appearances, in the illusions that are very, very real on this planet. It gives us the space to breathe. Help our world leaders. Help our church leaders. Help the third world countries. Help the people who are in leadership across the planet. Help the troops of America, but every other country that's out there. Help the families of the troops. Help those who have experienced death in their lives this week or this month or this year. Help those who are going full steam ahead find the space to take a breath. Help puts our awareness in a different place. Now, the trick, of course, is to allow our awareness to go to a different place, right? Because we can either be looking at ourselves, like we talked about on Christmas Eve, or Rob talked about in the class this morning, or we can be looking towards others. We can be looking at our own challenges, or we can be looking towards God. We know that our soul can pivot. It can look outer, it can look inner. It can look up, it can look down. It can be in our head, it can be in our heart. But choose, become conscious and choose. The second prayer that Anne Lamott talks about is just simple thanks. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the strength and the courage to take the next breath. Thank you for the strength and the courage and the wisdom to take the next step. Thank you for bringing this or healing that or opening this. Thank you that I can have a next breath, that I can breathe into the next possibility. Thank you because, thank you in the face of not seeing anything at all. Meister Eckhart, our beloved, one of my favorite Christian mystics, from the 12th century or the 13th century, now I've forgotten. He said, if thank you is the only prayer you ever uttered, it is enough. If it comes from your heart, if it comes from your soul. If you can't find it in your heart and soul yet, then say it as a mantra. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Find something to be thank you for. Thank you for the wreath. Thank you for the tree. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the band. Thank you for the music. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for the cloud. Thank you for the rain. Thank you for the freezing cold that we don't have that 24/7. Yeah. Whew. Thank you that we know it'll warm up. And it will begin to shift your awareness that you can then ultimately land in gratitude. We talk about gratitude a lot. And if you're not there, it's hard to get there. But by practicing a mantra, by practicing a prayer practice, by making thank you part of your spiritual practice, you can land there. You can open to that place, and you can discover it at a whole new place. And our third prayer, my favorite. Wow. 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 Pick wherever your wow is and say it with me. Wow. Wow can be like, oh my goodness gracious, I can't believe that just happened, in a good way or a bad way, right? Wow. When things happen that are like outrageously bad and you go, wow. Or outrageously good and you go, wow. But wow, the word wow, the vibration wow, the prayer wow, the practice wow actually has a reverberation to it. And in the book, she's got this line. It's W-O, 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 W-O for a whole line. Wow, 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 wow. The energy changes. Can you feel it? The vibration changes. Okay, now you're going to have to do it with me. Do it what? Backwards. Yeah, let's do it backwards. We'll do it frontwards first, and then we'll do it backwards. Okay, you ready? Wow, 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 wow. Feel it? Feel it in your body. Okay, now we're doing it backwards. It's a little trickier, but ready? Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Wow, thanks, Bill, for the backwards idea. That was pretty cool. And when we say, wow, it creates in us a pulse that softens us. This is what she says. It can be the movement of grace from hard to soft, from distracted to awake, from mean to gentle again. If we stay where we are, where we're stuck, where we're comfortable and safe, we die there. We become like mushrooms living in the dark with poop up to our chins. If you want to know only what you already know, you're dying. When nothing new can get in, that's death. When oxygen can't find a way in, you die. But new is scary and can be disappointing and confusing. New is life. Step outside when you're buggy. I like that. And say, wow. Step outside of yourself when you're buggy, when you're frustrated, irritated, cranky, gritchy. Step outside of your own drama. Find that place for a breath, for a holy pause, and say, wow. Wow, look at this thing I've been thinking about all this time. Wow, that's crazy that I give that much energy and power and awareness. Step outside and say, wow. I think she meant, Anne Lamott meant actually step out of the building that you're in. Not right now, please. I would take that personally, I think, if you all left. But step outside of where you're standing. And you can pray, help. Whew. Help me find love. Help me be the Christ. Help me be kinder in this moment. Help me find a way to help. Help me to help others. Bless me that I might bless the world. Thanks, 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 thanks. Thanks has a different energy than thank you. Thanks. And then wow. Help leads to thanks, leads to wow. It's all you need to know in prayer. It's 13 statements to drop right now. I'm not going to give you all 13 because it's too many to remember. 13 statements that will help you move into the now, will help you move into the present, that will help you move from right away, which has nothing to do with now, or right now, right away has nothing to do with now, but help you come in and help you free yourself so that that Christ that has already been born in you can awaken, can mature, can integrate, that you begin more and more, even if it's 5 minutes every single day. 1 minute 5 times every single day, that it can begin to become the new patterns, the new habits, the new pathways that we be and bring love into the world. So the first one is to the statement that says, I'm not good enough, translate it and transform it to, I'll do my best. To the statement that says, I wasn't born with a talent to do that, I bring practice, practice, practice. Practice. To the statement that says, it's too hard. There's too many obstacles. There's too many barriers. I can't do it. Know that obstacles are simply a part of the journey. They're the part of the journey that allow you to grow, that allow you to step out, to do something different, to overcome. Overcoming is the journey. This is a good one. It's come out of my mouth before. Hopefully no more. It's just not the right time. Well, the time to start is when we feel the hesitation. The time to begin is when we know it's not the right time, because that's the indicator that it's time to make a change. That's the indicator that it's time to take a step. I'm too old. I'm too young, right? And then those go on and on. If you love it, you'll do it until you die. If you love it, you'll do it till you die. I was talking to Jennifer this morning in the bookstore about Louise Hay, and this had nothing to do with the conversation I was having with Jennifer, but Louise Hay came into my mind. She wrote her first book at like 68 years old. And then after that, she developed this whole publishing house, the Hay House Publishing. She didn't start till she was near 70. You're not too old. We see stories about people who are well into their 90s that are taking up new hobbies, taking up painting, taking up writing, taking up all kinds of things. You're not too old. No, but if you're breathing, if you're alive, if you're on the planet, you're not too old. So nonsense. Nonsense is a good response to many of these. I'm not smart enough. People don't like me. It's just my luck. They're better than me. Well, all of those things are just nonsense. They're just things we've told ourselves or somebody told us in the past. That's just simply not true anymore. So make this the year to lay aside, to set down, to release, to surrender, to transcend, to heal those places in you that keep you smaller than you're here to be. You're here to let your light shine. You're here to be the light of God. Jesus said, you are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. Quit hiding your light under a bushel. Quit hiding your light under being too busy or too old or not good enough or not smart enough. Quit it. Just stop. Quit. Stop. Quit. Stop. Take a breath. Take a holy pause. Breathe again. Take a choice. Choose again. The Christ in you has been born anew this day, this year, this week. It is alive in you right here and now. Every single person. Every person, that Christ in you is birthed. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to allow it? Are you going to practice it? Are you going to become it? Or are you going to let it just stay in the back corner for a whole nother year? It comes down to our simple choice. Choose Christ. Choose love. Choose to be in the present moment. When you're in the present moment, you have access to infinite possibilities. You have access to all the love of the universe. You have access to all the wisdom and the compassion and the patience and the glory. Open yourselves to the truth of who you're here to be. Open yourselves and become that Christ in this day, in this moment. Take this week of holy pause to allow it to germinate. Allow it to germinate as a new idea, as a new way of being. Allow it to permeate every part of your being, your body, your mind, your heart, your emotions, your very soul. Rumi says, all words are fingers pointing to the moon. And we think the words are the moon. The words are not the moon. The fingers are not the moon. Reflect on the moon. Reflect on the Christ that is within you. Reflect on God that is love. Reflect on love. Not human love, emotional love, but that love that is the very fabric of our universe. That love that is found in the birth of the Christ. Stay awake. Nurture yourself. Take this week as a holy moment, a sacred moment. Practice the prayers. Pick up the book. Help. Thanks. Wow. And it all ends with amen. And so it is. And so it shall be done. God bless you. Amen.